Well, first of all, Xi Jinping can't stop talking about war. So, for the day that Janet Yellen arrived in Beijing to try to reestablish communication, where was China's leader? Well, he was talking to the People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theater Command. The Eastern Theater Command is the one that is going to lead the attack on Taiwan. He was telling them, now we have to have breakthroughs and preparedness. It was another of his let's go to war speeches. But that war, by the way, is not just going to be in Asia, because we are seeing a surge of Chinese migrants coming across our southern border. You know, most of them, almost all of them, are just fleeing from a distressed China, a China that is failing. But some of them are quite disturbing. We are seeing packs of males between, let's say, 5 and 15 in a group. They are males of military age. They are unattached to family groups. They pretend not to speak English. And U.S. Customs and Border Protection knows that some of them have connections to the Chinese military. So the question is, what's going on here? I think that these are saboteurs. They are going to be the ones attacking America when there is a war in Asia. They're going to be going after our grid. They're going to poison our reservoirs, assassinate officials, detonate bombs in shopping centers, starting wildfires. This is something that the Biden administration is not paying attention to. And, you know, the problem is already bad enough without these additional folks, because you've got sleeper agents in the U.S. for sure. They're going to work with the consulates and the embassy, with the state banks, the state enterprises. This is a really bad story.
Oh, yeah, it is a bad story. And when you talk about how do you get from China to Central America to enter the United States without permission from the Chinese Communist Party. This is a nation with social credit scores limiting your ability to travel unless you're towing the government line. This is a nation that tells all their citizens, you're essentially spies for China. All the corporations, you work for the Chinese Communist Party. So I can't even imagine that these are refugees that somehow found their way to Central America without permission of the Chinese Communist Party. Is that what you're thinking?
I think that that's true for some of them. I think that there is, you know, China allows tourism, and it does that for political reasons. But Chinese citizens are taking advantage of that because their country is in distress. The economy is failing. Property prices are plunging. There are worsening food shortages. There is general discontent. We saw that because of some of these extraordinary protests that began in October of last year, but especially the ones in November. So I agree with you. But the point is that some of these people are finding ways to get out. And that's why we're having this surge of Chinese migrants at our border. This is really, really important because of those two narratives. One of them, China falling apart. Second of all, China planning war on the U.S. on American soil.
And, you know, we have these Chinese police stations here in North America. You wonder, even if you got in as a legitimate refugee, couldn't you be blackmailed? We still have your family in Beijing, and therefore you must do this for us.
Absolutely. And China has done that in the past. It has sent out, for instance, its consular officials, Ministry of State Security agents that have been floating around the U.S., and they have been blackmailing and intimidating Chinese nationals on our soil. And we got to remember that every Chinese national is not only subject to this blackmail, but is under actually a legal compulsion to commit espionage. That's in the 2017 National Intelligence Law. But that's also, of course, because of the Communist Party's top-down system, where no entity in China, no individual can disobey an order from the party.